Good morning, everyone. I hope you are all enjoying our self-care summit. It has been an amazing weekend so far. Did you catch lots of the sessions yesterday? They were fabulous. And you might have seen my little bit about sketching and how I use that for self-care. I lose myself when I'm sketching, and in addition to enjoying that time tremendously, I come home with some fabulous little memories and things of my days and my travels. It doesn't have to just be travels. It could be your everyday experiences. I'm going to show you what I use. I know I have a little video that you might have seen about my supplies, but I'm going to pull them out of my little bag here, show you what I use and how I work and how easy and quickly you can just pull out your little sketchbook and just jot down a few ideas or memories. So I'm so happy that you're joining us this weekend. Let me pull this over so you can actually see what I'm doing here. So when I'm out and about, I have this little bag with me most of the time. And this is all you need. This is just a small little bag. And inside, let me show you the basics. You can add to it if you're working at home or in your studio. You could have more supplies, but for on the road, this is what I use. What's in my little bag of tricks here. I always have a little white gum eraser, a little bit of water. This is just a little tiny, you can find it in the travel section of the stores, a little spray bottle. I use this to put my water in, and it's handy because I put it right inside there and it fits in my kit. I I'm not sure where this exact one came from, but I'll tell you, if you buy the little packages of toothpicks, it's the perfect size little round container. So I have a little bit of water in there. I have a pencil. I do like to use a mechanical pencil. It gives me a finer line. It's not so smudgy, and I can erase it. I can sketch lightly, and I can erase it easily. So look at this. They come in little packs. They're very inexpensive. I cut up a few little paper towels. I have my sketchbook in there, a little paint palette, and then just a few things to paint and sketch with. I have my pencil to sketch. Then I go over it, and I'll show you in this little demo with a pen. I use the microns because they're waterproof. It won't smudge when you put your water on. I like the O2 and the O3. I usually sketch with an O2. I have some heavier ones in my kit as well if I want a heavier line. I might give a sample today with the O3 because it might be easier to see on the camera. I love these Uniball Signo white pens. They're the only ones that I have found that really are opaque. So after I'm done sketching, if I want to put a few white highlights in, I can use that pen. Brushes. There's all sorts. There's travel brushes like this that just open up, which are sable, nice sable brushes like this, travel brushes, all different sizes. And then there's also these, which are very inexpensive. They're the watercolor brushes that have water in the barrel there. You can just kind of squeeze it out. I actually love this brush. I use it a lot. I love the way that it's a synthetic brush, but it keeps a nice point. I don't even use it so much because of the water in the barrel. I just kind of like the brush, but it's nice if I want a little squeeze there. I do get some water right out of my brush. All sorts of little paint palettes. You can find these little kits in most of the stores. I have made my own. For instance, this is just a little cigar box. And I do like the pan paints, so I would buy the colors I like, put a little magnet on the back and stick them in there. And that's a great little travel kit that you can just make up yourself. I've seen people make up little travel kits in as small as little Altoids containers, would you believe? So you can find different brands in the art and craft stores. I have taken out some that I don't care for. I like bright colors. Have taken some of the earth tones out. I have some still, and I've added some colors I like. You can buy these little pans individually. I know I've gotten them online at Dick Blick or something. Certain colors that I know I use a lot. I like the turquoises and pinks. Gives you a little work area here on the lid, which is great and handy to have. So if you find it like a little kit that you like, it comes with paints, experiment with the paints, see what you like. If you want, you can always add colors to that or take colors away. It's a good idea to take a little piece of watercolor paper and just make up a little swatch. I have one bigger here in my bigger kit, but just for an idea, it would be nice to just know the colors that are in your kit. And because some of them are dark and they look black, but they're really a purple or a dark blue. So do a little swatch kit just so you know when you're out painting what your paint colors are going to look like. And then sketchbooks. There's all sorts of little sketchbooks. I found this one at a craft fair. Someone made it. A woman made these, and they're fabulous. It's just, I just love that it says observations on the cover. And they're little pages, but I still fit a lot on there. You know, I get really detailed sometimes, which is my style. You can do whatever you want. They could be really simple sketches. So that's one that's just, I don't know, yeah, just in pencil. I had not had time to finish it, but it's just pencil. But then I snap a picture, and then I can always go back if I want to. This one is not quite done yet. It's got a little watercolor on it, but really fun little sketchbooks you can find. So this is an extra special one that was handmade. It's got a metal cover, came in a little cool bag. But for the most part, what I use is a moleskin watercolor sketchbook. You know, the moleskin books come in all sorts of drawing, different kinds of paper. I like the watercolor paper ones, and I love that I could go ahead and do a vertical, a nice long vertical if I want. I can do a landscape. I can do just single little images. So this is just a little bus here. This was just a little fireplace. These are a lot when I was traveling I would do. But remember, you can do simply, if you're just in your kitchen, you could do an egg carton. You could do a little memento that means something to you. I have sometimes I'll participate in like online challenges where they give you a prompt every day and you sketch it. So sometimes, if I can find that book, I have some in here, I believe. So yeah, it would just be, you know, candy bars. It could be the stove. It could be everyday items. I think I even have some in here of my keys. I know you probably want to take a peek in there too. So I was at a concert once. Now, actually, I sometimes sketch at venues, at baseball games and different things. I'll stand in the corner with the kit's so small you can. At Barnacle Billy's, sketching my rum punch. It's really a great way to get out of your head sometimes if you need to, and just forget about something else. Create a piece of artwork, which in my mind is beautiful. I don't care what it looks like. And beauty always helps illuminate like darkness. And I just love the idea that I can get lost in this, and I'd love to share the process with you. So what I would do to start is I have my little kit, and I could be sitting in my car. I could be standing in the corner, like I say, at a venue or something. If I'm at a restaurant and you're a long wait for your meal, you could do the salt and pepper shake. Because honestly, I just get outside and, like I said, inside and do some sketching. So how I would begin, let me find, I know I have lots of blank pages and some things here. I'm going to just take a look. I just have a little funny reference photo here of a sunflower wearing my sunglasses, but it could be almost anything. So I would just find a page, and I would think about the orientation a little bit. This is more of a vertical, so I would turn it up. Now, I put random things on each page. I do like to, though, kind of put the name, where I was, maybe the date, a little something, because later on when you look at these books, you're going to be amazed, and you're going to remember exactly where you were. You're going to remember the smells of the flowers. You're going to remember the sounds, the weather. Unlike if you took a photograph with your iPhone, which we have 1,000 photographs on there, but do we really go back and look at them and think about where we were? If you have your sketchbook, you're going to look at those, and that little time is going to come alive for you, which is so cool. So I would just simply start with my sketchbook. I'm not stressing about it. I put a little water in my cup when I'm ready to paint, but first I just sketch. So I would start out with just my little pencil and just do a little light sketch. I want to sketch pretty lightly so that it's easy to go over and erase after. And sometimes you don't need to even erase the lines. It's kind of nice to have them in there. So it's almost like a little roadmap for me. I just start. And this doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to look like the scene you're looking at. Artistic license, change things up, just have fun doodling. And so I don't worry too much about exactly what it looks like. I change things all the time. And I just go a little sketch. I know it's hard on the camera to see, but I'm just doing a little light pencil sketch there. And like I said, I almost think of it as a roadmap if it's a really complicated scene, which sometimes I love to dive into. And I start with one little bit of the image and then work out like a jigsaw puzzle almost from there, and just add. My windows aren't square. My lines aren't square. My buildings aren't perfectly in perspective. I don't have a ruler. I just put them in there, little wonky windows, a few little wonky windows. no one's going to look at it that close. You don't want it to be that precise because it might as well just be a photograph then. So what I do is I just put that little light pencil sketch on, just quickly, just a little sketch, because most of the drawing I do is with my pen. I just want a few landmarks on here, and then I'm going to go ahead with my pen, and I'm going to sketch my lines. And this is where your own style comes in. You could have a heavier touch, a lighter touch. You could just sketch some things in and paint the rest just in watercolor. But I like to go ahead and just kind of sketch over my lines best I can. I am not following them perfectly. And again, I know I'm going to try to do it so that you can actually see. It's a little awkward angle, but I know the camera's kind of weird to get through. So I am just going to do little sketching. And honestly, even though I'm working at a weird angle here, I am this loose and wonky. I don't try to make it perfectly. I'm going to get that little center of the sunflower in. I'm doing it a little simpler, maybe just so we can not have to have too long of a video here, but you get the idea. I put my little petals in. You can put some details in, as much or as little as you want of details. I could put little hash marks for the seeds here. Such a fun little hobby. It's a good way to incorporate art into every day for you. I know a lot of people, a lot of their struggles and a lot of things I hear from them are, I don't know what supplies to use. I don't have a place to work. By the time I set it up, it's time to stop painting. So this is a way you can easily incorporate every day doing a little something that you love. So I do my ink, just don't know if I can make that so you can see it a little better, but anyway, I do my little sketch in my pencil. I go over it with my ink, and then it's really ready to put some watercolor in if you'd like. That's when I get a little bit of water in my cup. I take my little sprayer and I give my colors a little spritz just to loosen them up. And then all you need is one of your little brushes. And watercolor is a great medium because you can go on with a really, really light touch and then build up your colors. You're really just coloring right now, like you do in your coloring book. I'm going to take a little bit of, maybe I'll put some greens in the background, which I haven't even sketched, but I want a little bit something back there. I go pretty loose and pretty light to start. You can then deepen up your colors. And honestly, isn't it relaxing? You're just really coloring. And then I'm going to add a little bit of a lighter, maybe some yellow in there to just let it blend in. The colors can mix really right on the paper for you. Let me tip that. I don't know why the camera is just so, it's just a lot of glare, I think, with my lighting. But just have fun with it. There's no mistakes. You just glob on that color, have fun. Let me see if I can hold this at a better angle for you. And then it's really, truly just coloring in. Just color in your little bits. And look at that bright yellow. Isn't that fun and cheery? It dries fairly quick. Your brushes rinse out in water. Easy to clean up. And I just layer on. I do as much or as little detail as I want. If you're somewhere and you do get stuck and you have to leave, I just, like I said, snap a photograph. You can go home and play with it later. Or next time you're out and you're just sitting at the beach or enjoying a picnic, you could pull out your little kit and work on that a little more. So that's my next little step, is I just put the watercolor in there. And I'll do some more. If you guys want to follow me, I am Cheryl from Tinker's Cart Art. I have a free Facebook group where I do some painting and some tutorials and some little information, and that's called Learn to Paint with Cheryl. You can find that on Facebook here. And I'll be doing more little tutorials which go in a little bit more in the painting part of this, but I kind of wanted just to show you how quickly the process can be for you. and very little supplies are needed. And feel free in the comments to ask any questions. If you have any at all, reach out to me and I'd be happy to answer any that you have. I just would love to see. I'm an acrylic painter and I teach that online mostly, but I do love the sketching and I think it's a nice little way as an artist if you want to just incorporate a little something every day into your artwork, into your day, and explore some art. So that's what I would do. I would let that dry. I would do a little bit of some little washes of watercolor in there. When that's dry, that's when it comes in where I would add, of course, my name and any little information you might want, just as a little reminder of where you were. And then these unit ball pens, like I said, are fabulous for adding any little details. You got to let your painting dry there, but you can go ahead. And this is good for a lot of crafts and things that you might be doing, mixed media and whatnot, because you can go in afterwards and just add these lines. I don't know if you can see it that well, but these white lines, if you have a nice dark area, sometimes I'll pull out some of my others and show you examples of where I might have used it. Let's see. So I would go and say you have a really detailed drawing and you want to go in afterwards and you can add some little highlights in places. You can see that white really shows up nice. And I find that if I've got an area that's too heavy, I've done a plant or a tree and it just looks like a big heavy ball, you could go in with some of the white, just loosen it up, put some little sky holes in there, see right through it. So if you look back through the summit here, I have a little video that shows some of the pages of my sketchbook you might want to look at. I have a little more detailed about the supplies, but I did want to show you how it all really came out of this little bag. My little steps are very simple. Just sketch with your pencil, an inexpensive, just little mechanical pencil. I like the Micron little waterproof pens for sketching. I do most of my sketching with this. These are just, the pencil lines are just to give me a little framework, and then I go crazy with, with my pen, all the little details. And again, you could get detailed or not. My style is a little detailed. You might want something a little simpler. This was a little simpler. But look, it would make a fun little card. You could make a little print of it, take a photo of it, and make a print if you wanted. But just honestly, just looking through your little sketchbooks every now and then are just so much fun. I remember where I was, what the day was like. And see, I do get a little detailed, but you don't have to. You can do, like I said, as simple or detailed as you like. And add my little watercolor after my pen sketch. Add your name, little notes about where you were, and if you need any highlights, here you go with your little white pen. Super simple. You can craft a nice little kit. I'd love to see some of your sketches, and I'd love to see some of the kits that you come up with. And I thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of the day. And remember, you can come back and watch these things for a little while right in the Summit Facebook group. Thank you guys so much. I'm Cheryl from Tinker's Cart Art. I'd love to see you online.